still have a long way to go.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this short build showcase. The idea behind this one is this item got released this season, which is the Kaleidoscope. And for anyone who has played Diablo 3, or I think it was in Diablo 2 as well, this is kind of the convention of elements, which gives you a rotating buff of 60% additional damage, erosion, elemental, and then physical. My idea was to utilize conversion into from elemental damage into erosion damage. So what I arrive into is using this node mixture, which converts 50% of physical and elemental into erosion, and using these gloves, for which we need to apply Ignite, Frostbite, and Shock. Frostbite and Shock are okay. You only need Ailment Chance, which we are getting from Infinity in this case, and also we're getting a little bit from this one, Peculiar Vibe. Ignite, however, you need base Ignite, otherwise you can't apply it, so that's why we're using Imbue, this one, Flame Imbue. So the idea is convert all the damage to erosion and scale both elemental and erosion damage through the use of the realms, which gives 30% elemental as extra erosion and 50% of effects change. I believe, we cannot be 100% certain. I believe this means any additional increases and reductions will also apply to erosion at 50% effectiveness. So that means we're kind of double dipping by getting any sorts of increased elemental damage. Because if I understand correctly how this should work, we get the 45% increased elemental, we get the 60% additional, then all of that gets converted to erosion. We then get the rotating erosion. We get all of those 45%, we get 50%, so it's 22% extra erosion damage. And then we get 30% of any elemental as extra. Since Chromatic Shot has all damage types, it has physical, elemental, and erosion flat. The idea would be to scale this through a lot of levels and crits, basically. Since this Chromatic Shot, I thought Ranger of Glory might be the best one. Not Lethal Flash, because Chromatic Shot already 3 shotguns, right? Kind of overkill to do Lethal Flash in that case. And the other ones, probably Gemma would deal like twice the damage on this build, but everybody knows how good Gemma is, and I haven't seen many Carino builds going around, non-lethal flash, that is. That's why I wanted to do this one. in order to scale it, what we're doing is we're going kind of aura stacking, since Soulbender is really good. Soulbender has the other 50% physical conversion, so that's why we went for this, but it's also a really good tree. You get a lot of seal mana, you get mana recovery, which we need because we're casting really fast. You get blur, which is amazing, and you get aura effect as well. And aura effect is kind of strong. We get some movement speed while we have blur, and whenever we have something like this, any type of blur effect will scale this. So it feels really good, really nice. In terms of the talents, we're going for, as I mentioned previously, mixture, and we're going for forbidden power for some damage. Infinite defenses, poison relief is insane, really good. And since this is a low life build, less damage taken here. Soulbender, we're going for additional damage after blur ends, and additional less damage taken while we have blur. Tainted blood, I think is more damage because it's consistently 20% additional damage, and ward is a lot of defenses. Blood sacrifice, really strong. It allows us to get all of our auras, since we're kind of aura stacking. We have a lot of them, and this is I haven't yet figured out what the best option for third tree is. I was running for a wall with Druid, and the cast speed felt really good. Also the mana recovery. But I don't know if the damage in this tree will scale a lot because of the last talent, right? There is not a lot of damage here. There is a lot of regain and a lot of cast speed, but not damage. So if I figured out a way to scale damage beyond, you know, a lot of additional, a lot of crits, maybe I'll revisit Druid, because this node is really good. Cultivation, it gives you a ton of cast speed and more mana recovery that you can figure out what to do with. And you also get some agility blessings and cast speed per agility blessings, as well as mana recovery per when you gain agility blessing. I think it's one, yes. You gain agility blessing and you gain cast speed per stack of it. You get a lot of cast speed. And from here, I think the interesting one is acquaintance. This reads wrong, but this is kind of a 25% chance to cast twice. Is what I feel it is, what I think it is, because it says triggered, to be triggered an additional time while using main spell skills. It might be just for, you know, castle crit, castle channeling, but I think this is kind of a multicast. And if so, you have another 6% here, so it's 31% chance to multicast, which is kind of interesting. For now, I went for Spirit Color simply because of this reason. Chromatic Shot has all the attacks. It's physical, erosion, fire, lightning, and cold, so this is +3. This flat is kind of overkill for Chromatic Shot because it's all flat. Other than that, this 4% physical as extra random elemental damage. So what I read here is we get 4% more damage, and then that gets converted, so it's roughly 8 to 10% additional damage, which is quite good. Other than that, in every tree you want to grab as much cast speed and attack speed possible, a lot of these hybrid nodes, because this will affect your reload time. And a lot of mana. We need a lot of it. So for now, the build is doing, you know, average damage. Just okay damage for T3, for T7 clear. So it's nothing too insane at the moment. We still have some levels to go with, and I want to use some precise skills. I want to use Restraint to stack a little bit more auras as well. And of course, Chromatic Shot scales heavily with levels. So anything you get that increases levels will really give you a lot of damage. For hero traits, I went with this. this was kind of an impulsive purchase because at the moment I was searching the auction house, this was the only Goggles of the Royal Hunter with 3 engram slots. So let me check right now if there is a little bit more of it, but I think that was the only one. So I just went through it. I don't know if it's the best for this build or any. But seem rare, right? So here's another one, 40. Yeah, there seemed to be a lot more. Maybe it was a bug. I don't know. But I only saw one. But yes, it's not crazy expensive at the moment. No, it's something, but not too crazy. And basically, what this does is the following: you get 6% effect for every 6 special ammo that you reload, up to 15, right? So this 6% stocking 15 times is, I believe, 90%, right? Yes, 90% magic memory effect. And you also get chance to reload per legendary one. So this one, this is really strong, really strong. You can see how the damage starts to ramp, right? See your cast speed there, and you see how cast speed starts to ramp up. That is because of that note. The more we reload, the more we continuously cast, the more attack and cast speed we're getting, right? So this is 60% attack and cast speed times 2. Probably the effect of each of these ones is calculated individually. So if we go for 60 times 0.9 times 0.9 is 54. So we're getting 114% each for each of these memories. So 228% attack and cast speed from one of these. And you know, more crit. How do you know that the effect is working? Look at the life and energy shield while when I start to cast. See how it's going high, how it's going up. We get like 200 energy shield, I think. Yes, but it's quite powerful. I think this memory is really strong, and the only reason it's cheap is because this character is not as popular. So in terms of trades, going with just the standard right now. I haven't tested yet a lot of these. Yeah, still kind of figuring out how the character works. For supports, I like Mark. Mark is gives, I think, 10% additional crit damage taken. So it's quite good. The damage it gives is better than the 29%. So this is probably like a 40% support when compared to others. If your build has high enough crit chance, which Carino should, right? Slow projectiles it's too high of a multiplier to ignore, so we go for it. And crit damage, because we want to stack as much of it as possible. We're going with this Erosion pen. All we're doing is erosion damage. Efficient cast, because we need the mana cost reduction, and the extra cast speed is quite nice. We want to stack crits. Eventually, if I can get some source of favor or something, I might get rid of crit rating. Penetration is better than jump because it gives damage, and it gives 4 pierces. You don't need any other source of pierces after this one. We're using false start because we got this infinity with Barrier of Radiance, which makes it so you cannot be interrupted your recharge. It's quite good for defenses. Of course, mobility, some cast speed and aim, which every projectile build takes. I'm kind of testing. Testing this one overclock. Secret Origin Unleashed, since we don't have a way to get focus blessings, doesn't last long. So I'm testing overclock to just get a little bit of extra damage for 5 casts. We shall see. In terms of auras, going for we got a restraint here. This is reserving on our life, so we got precise erosion enhancement for some pen. Flame imbue. This could honestly be level 1. It doesn't really matter. It gives you some flat fire, so it's good to level it actually. But the most important part is getting the base ignite, because without the base ignite, you cannot ignite and you cannot convert fire damage to erosion if you don't ignite. We need magical source. I'm actually gonna use a 21 precise for the mana regeneration speed, because this build casts really fast, so it needs quite a lot of mana. Thunder Spirit for more cast speed. I might change this to the other one, to the fire for crits, and just Death Path with Fixate and Soul Leashing Circle. You know, some pen, cancel the double damage, and another source of mark. Superpower, so we get more cast speed, and precise projectiles and precise elemental resistance with precise energy fortress. Precise elemental resistance is really good because it gives you 1% max resistance. If you manage to get 100% increase effect of auras, this is +2. Really strong, and we're getting a lot of levels on this because this has, for instance, Fire Cold Lightning, so that ties up with this node. So we're basically capping our resistance through that aura. Almost. So I think I have 4 levels more, so we will have our resistances capped with that. Okay, those are the skills. In terms of gear, we're using Eye of the Kraken. This helmet is insane, and it's criminally underpriced, in my opinion. The Explode has a really big area of effect. So I love it. I would even use this in a build that doesn't scale erosion damage. Right now is like 1 FE, get one and clear faster is amazing. Undying Faith, this might or might not be the best option, but this gives stats, gives quite a bit of ES, reduce steal mana, additional damage at low life, which we are always, and some more effects. Divs, mostly because it automates corruption, and it also adds a little bit of erosion damage and a good amount of max ES, mana, and life, which you benefit from all, right? The gloves, again, for this is in order to convert. And this pain increases erosion damage taken and reduces movement speed. So these gloves are pretty good for this build. Infinity, I like Barrier of Radiance because of the recovery is insane once you get this. But if you don't want to go for Barrier of Radiance, I would honestly use a rare one here instead. Boots, resistances, we need this. As mentioned, this one is for the additional damage. I want to double corrupt this eventually if I continue to play this one. In terms of a weapon, I think the best is a dagger because we can use Spiral Strike, otherwise you're kind of slow. And either Erosion, I think Elemental is better because of this. Because of the extra, and this, you're kind of benefiting twice from increased elemental damage. But, well, I rolled a spell damage, so I'm getting that one. A very important is this one, the reduced resistance. The cast speed, and this mod is nice. We're going for a shield because, again, I need a place to put the resistances in since we're using too many uniques. So that's it for this one. I think I already dragged it for too long. There's not really a guide, it's just a showcase of the idea I currently have. Anyway, see you in the next one.